Wow. Society's pretty good at one thing, advancing. Like, can we all just take a moment and realize that in our pockets right now is a supercomputer more powerful than the one on Apollo 11, or any computer from that time? We have advanced a lot, but I think we're really blind to the situation that we're in. I mean, we're all grateful for this advancement. I mean, without it, I wouldn't really be able to talk to you right now. But these computers and these phones are beginning to do some pretty amazing things. You might even say human. I can take my phone and I can talk to it, and it talks back to me. It recognizes what I'm saying. I can take a picture with my phone, have an actual image being represented on a screen. And did you know that there was once a time when people thought that computers could never beat someone at chess? Yet, you yourself right now can go on your phone and download a free app that can beat our best and brightest. Now, we have this idea that we cannot be replaced by robots. We have this idea because we believe that we ourselves are unique and that we can never be replaced. And maybe this is true, but we don't need to be replaced entirely. There never will be a robot or a program that can be you. But instead, you need a robot or a computer that can replace every aspect of you, that can make you, after years, obsolete. That's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. Now, when most of you think of automation or robots, you might think of an assembly line, such as something in manufacturing. This is the automation of the past. It's a robot doing one job over and over again, blind to the world and not really understanding what it's doing. But on the horizon right now is something different. It's called a general purpose robot. And essentially, after you show the robot one task, it can do that task 1,000 times over with perfection in any place, not just in a big warehouse. These robots have potential to replace lots of jobs. They can make your double venti chai mocha extra hot skinny latte at Starbucks, or they can fold clothes in our urban jungles of retail. Now, really what it comes down to is that in the future, any job that requires physical manipulation, like hands, are just going to be replaced by a robot that can do it just as easily. And even if that robot is 10 times, 100 times as slow, it makes up for it by the fact that it only costs pennies a day to operate. Now, I think you've all heard of a company called Google. I hope so. We all know this. But what you might not know is that they developed a self-driving car. This car itself has driven 1.1 million kilometers without a single accident. It's not a question of if the driverless car is coming, but when it's going to start to replace our jobs. The trucking industry, the taxi industry, those two jobs and those two workforces are going to be replaced. But it's not just transportation of people, it's transportation of all objects, whether it be inside warehouses to get resources or inside pit mines to move coal. Jobs that require transportation from anything from point A to point B sadly have a limit on how many years are left with them. Back to retail though, one thing that people might not know is that a touchscreen can do much of the jobs of what a cashier can do. Now, you might have already seen this within your own grocery stores back home, but you'll see that instead of having 10 cashiers, there's now 100 or 50 or just 10 cashier robots that do the exact same job, a self-checkout. And we've already had this for years. If you yourself want to take money out of a bank, you don't go up to the bank and talk to a human person. You instead go to an ATM, touch a few buttons, and have your money plop out. See, in the future, companies are experimenting with replacing the cashier and ordering with just a touchscreen. A fast food restaurant can just as simply get the orders done if you tap it in yourself with less errors than someone having to dictate it to somebody else. Now, here's the kind of scary part. Computers don't just know already how to do jobs that involve hands or touching or moving anything. They've also learned how to think. Some robots now have the ability to make decisions for themselves. In essence, you give a robot a starting position and an ending position or a program and they can work out all the middle steps in between. This already is within a part of our society. If you've ever been to New York and the stock exchange, or you've seen a video of it, it's no longer hundreds of people jumping around trying to buy and sell stocks. Instead, it's a TV set, because all the buying and trading is done by robots now. Software bots know how to buy and sell at the right time, and this decision-making can be implemented within your own job. But what about all the paperwork that comes with office jobs? That too can be done by programs. I mean, it's not like it's Twilight or anything, but for simple jobs of data collection and writing that out to give to your boss, that itself can be done by a robot instead of a person. So let's look at the impact. What would the loss of our manufacturing industry, our transportation industry, our retail, our cashiers, and some of our office jobs do to the economy? That's a lot of jobs. Of the 17 million people that work within Canada, 10 million of these are going to be affected in some way by automation. Now, if only a third of these would have their jobs made obsolete or be replaced by robots, that would bring the unemployment rate up to 26%. And for those who don't understand how big that is, that's 1% less than it was during the Great Depression. And I know what you're thinking to yourself, Jack, you're way out there, way out there. And for all you people who don't watch Seinfeld or got that joke there, I might be more keen to someone in like Times Square with a sign holding "the end is nigh." But this is not skepticism. We're on the verge of another technological revolution. The ones in the past mechanized our bodies. These ones are going to mechanize our minds. As a society, we really don't know how to deal with this. We could give a salary to every single person. That's one hope. Or my personal favorite, we can hope that every single job and every single piece of work done by everyone in the world can instead be done by robots, so we ourselves can do whatever we want. In other words, just kind of make them our slaves. But I have a solution that will work for you. Now, if you're in high school right now or going into university, look at the options that your job actually has. Will it be there in 20 years? I don't know. But I have a better piece of advice for you. If you yourself are in university or in high school, learn one thing. Robots can answer questions, but what they're not really good at is asking them. So the people who benefit from this new technological revolution are those people who can ask the questions that need to be answered. These are our researchers, these are our programmers, and these are our entrepreneurs of the future. You yourself should become a researcher and have your questions of the universe answered by thousands upon thousands of minds held within tiny boxes. Become a programmer and ask the question, how much power can these robots and these programs give us? Or become an entrepreneur and have your quest to bring a product to market be answered with no cost for failure. What does the future hold? That's a very old question. And if I knew the answer, I'd be a betting man. But what we all know is that it will be different from what it is right now. We are on the verge of a technological revolution, one where thinking won't just be human. So when you ask yourself, what do you want to be when you grow up? Make sure it's riding that wave. Thank you.